At its most basic, the brain performs to keep us alive, enabling us to survive, and at its performing best, making sure we thrive together throughout our lives. The most sophisticated form of brain performance is very likely the ability to be creative and innovative. From a neuroscientific perspective, creativity always precedes innovation, where innovation may be defined as the ability to solve problems and fashion new products that are adaptive for the group. From scientific studies and thinking in various fields, we suggest 4 determinants of the thriving organization: resilience, leadership, knowledge and skills, and innovation. Through resilience, we prevent chronic stress. Through leadership, we find meaning by achieving our goals, as individuals and together in groups. Through learning, we store the building blocks for innovation. And through innovation, we give meaning to our own lives, often by giving meaning to the lives of others. In this way, we establish our unique identity and sense of belonging in the group. From a business perspective, these may well be the most significant determinants of organizational performance. Many current discoveries in neuroscience offer an invaluable new paradigm for the development and sustainability of a thriving organization. You may have heard that we use 10% of our brains. This is urban myth. We use the whole brain to navigate us safely through life, but we have no idea how much of our latent brain capacity we use daily. What we do know is that the brain has an astonishing capacity to store more information and build more knowledge than we have believed up to now. Similarly, we can learn to think more creatively, be more innovative, more goal-directed, and make better decisions. Brain performance capacity can be enhanced. We now know of a number of factors that will measurably enhance brain performance capacity once these are integrated as essential behaviors. We call these factors the drivers of brain performance. Working through published and peer-reviewed neuroscience research, we identified 11 major drivers that can be optimized for enhanced brain performance capacity. And the same drivers of individual brain performance also drive organizational brain performance. We group these drivers as foundational, emotional, higher order, and sensory. The first driver group is the foundational drivers, so called because they are quite literally the essential foundations of enhanced brain performance. If you are serious about enhancing personal and organizational brain performance, start by making sure the foundational drivers are well understood and integrated. Interestingly, but not at all surprising, the foundational drivers correspond closely with the most basic parts of the brain, the brainstem and the hypothalamus. In our brain performance model, we identify the foundational drivers as exercise, nutrition, the sleep-wake cycle, and what we call silencing the mind. New knowledge from neuroscience clearly demonstrates the synergistic and cumulative effect these foundational drivers have on brain performance. We need, for example, to include more movement throughout the day and to integrate several different types of exercise. Think of nutrition as fuel, because the energy-hungry brain needs continuous refueling to perform at its best. Think of the rhythmic sleep-wake cycle as 2 active brain states, where creative problem-solving mostly occurs at night while we are sleeping. And think of silencing the mind as an essential 4th foundation to enhance focus and clarity, but also because it helps to ensure that the sophisticated prefrontal cortex regulates problem solving. From the perspective of brain performance, the emotional system forms the basis of all goal-directed behavior, and it always attempts to ensure our place in the group because we survive as a group, in communities and in organizations. The emotional drivers correspond with the hypothalamus, amygdala, emotional pathways, and the emotional prefrontal cortex, also called the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. In our model, we identify the emotional drivers as value tagging, goal-directedness, and collective creativity. Our value tagging system ensures that we have a sense of belonging, a sense of identity, and a sense of meaningfulness. It uses the same screening process for our innovative ideas. Based on questions raised unconsciously by these three tags, the value tagging system screens out any idea that does not satisfy it. This directly affects our ability to generate innovative ideas. At the heart of value tagging is bonding or mutual trust. Because humanity demonstrates innate goal-directed behavior, goal-directedness as an unconscious brain state is a major driver of brain performance. Collective creativity refers to the idea that in the right circumstances and under the right conditions, when we innovate in a group, we can solve more complex problems. In today's highly complex business environment, optimizing the emotional drivers is essential for effective leadership. The foundational drivers provide the essential foundations for brain performance. The emotional drivers provide the essential foundations for effective leadership. Once these are fully optimized, the brain is prepared to make best use of its problem-solving capabilities. This is where the higher-order drivers come into play. Higher-order drivers that can be enhanced and optimized for problem-solving. In the model, we identify these drivers as learning, abstraction, and executive function. By enhancing learning as a driver, we can significantly enhance the brain's capacity to store more knowledge. These are the building blocks we use to solve problems, fashion novel products, and plan ahead. Along the brain's so-called superhighway, building blocks of knowledge are used to create realistic scenarios of what is possible. This is the process of abstraction. We call this superhighway the planning and problem-solving pathways. Finally, possible solutions reach the brain's most sophisticated part of the planning and problem-solving machine, located in the prefrontal cortex. The driver that enhances this sophisticated system is called executive function. Optimizing this driver leads to better and simpler solutions to challenging problems. Finally, brain performance always takes place in an external environment. The continuous stream of massive amounts of sensory information from the outside environment has interesting and significant effects on brain performance. Knowledge about how the brain manages this information through sensory integration may now make it possible to manage and even design the sensory environment for optimal brain performance. Sensory integration completes the set of 11 drivers and belongs to the final driver group, the sensory drivers. Remember that all the drivers affect brain performance, individually and as a group. For example, exercise, nutrition, and silencing the mind profoundly affect the sleep-wake cycle. And all of these directly and continuously affect the optimal functioning of the emotional and higher-order driver systems. The brain performs as one incredibly complex system.